Hi friends, I'm Bryn,
And I'm Alyssa.
and this is Friends Who Crime.
Woo!
Friends Who Crime. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Friends Who Crime. Do me a solid and give the podcast a 5-star review on your streaming service of choice. It takes like 10 seconds, it really helps the show and the algorithms. My guest today, I'm very excited to have on. We've known each other for a very long time, actually. Alyssa, hello.
Hello! I'm so excited to be here.
Tell us about you.
Oh, God. What about me do you want to know?
What do you like to do?
Well, I like to sing.
Yes.
I guess this is where I can say that's how we know each other.
Yes.
Currently, I sing in a wedding and events band called the Night Owls, based out of Austin. I used to be in a cover band called Uncle Jesse's Hair, based out of Houston. But we know each other from a cappella.
Mm-hmm.
So back in college, I sang a cappella. So did Bren. And did we meet at Acapalooza?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Good old Acapalooza.
Good old Acapalooza. So yeah, I guess we've known each other for like over a decade.
Holy shit, Alyssa.
Didn't think I was gonna blow your mind today, did you?
Wow.
I know. Well, because I graduated college in 2015. So yeah, we've known each other for a decade. Bitch, that's crazy.
We're getting so
We're
old.
Okay, so yeah, now that I've ruined your day, I don't know. I'm currently unemployed. I just told you that, so that's fun.
It's a party.
But I'm looking for work, and I'm looking to get back into like the influencer marketing world. So that's like what I want to be doing, hopefully, sometime soon.
Yay.
Yeah.
And are you into true crime?
I am. I wouldn't say I'm like an avid true crimer. Is that the word?
Sure.
We'll say it is now. My sister-in-law is like obsessed with true crime, so I like hear a lot about it from her. I watch some like true crime YouTubers. I told you about Bailey Sarian earlier. I love her. I think it's interesting. I think like the human psychology part of it is interesting to me. Like, what is this person's childhood? Why did they do what they did? Like, that part to me is like, I don't know. I just can't understand when humans hurt other humans. I'm like, what the hell? You know? Like, it doesn't,
That's
my brain doesn't
literally
compute.
the same thing that I tell other people. Like, I love the psychological aspect of it and like the human condition. And I can't imagine how some people have this mindset.
Truly. It's mind-blowing.
It is.
Like, I heard a fly and I'm like, oh no.
Right?
Quite literally, you know?
Right?
I just don't get it. So yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you here.
Yay.
Today we're talking about the murder of Carrie Olson. When it happened, her disappearance like baffled everybody in her town, but the truth slowly and very painfully came out in the end.
Oh my god, already juicy.
Right? And my intro line here, this is a new one. Let me know what you
Okay, I'll let you know.
think. Hold on to your butts. This is a wild one.
I'm holding on, babe. My butt is being held on to currently. Okay, let's go.
So I'll set the stage. It's late December 2013 in Davenport, Iowa. The air is crisp. Holiday lights are out and about. Families are gearing up for Christmas, New Year's. It's supposed to be a time of joy and togetherness, but for one family, this festive season would turn into an unimaginable nightmare. Unimaginable nightmare.
Unimaginable. I'm nervous for them. Mm-hmm. I'm scared for what's coming.
You should be.
Oh my god.
Our victim, Carrie Olson, was a vibrant 29-year-old woman born and raised right there in Davenport, Iowa. She was born on August 8th, 1984. She was a dedicated employee at her family's flooring business, Dave's Floor Trends.
Okay, Dave.
Carrie was... Okay, Dave.
Somebody's got to cheer for him, you know?
Carrie was described as a woman with a big heart, very generous and giving, and she cherished her relationships with her family and her beloved dog, Colby Jack.
Bryn, not the dog.
I know.
If this dog gets orphaned, I swear... Well, it's probably going to, huh? Oh my god, I'm scared.
So basically, Carrie sounds like someone that I would totally be friends with.
Oh, absolutely.
And I should show you a picture. She is beautiful. And looking at pictures with her, I was like, her smile is so amazing.
She is really pretty. Is that her dog?
Yeah, there's Colby Jack.
Colby Jack is such a good dog name, too. Oh my god.
I literally, that's in my notes. I'm like, wow, that's a great dog name.
No, it is. Food names for dogs are top tier. Food names for pets are top tier.
And two, like, names back to back. Colby Jack, but Colby Jack.
So cute.
Cheese. So at the time that we're starting this story, Carrie was living with her boyfriend, Justin Mueller, in her Davenport home. Her own father, Dave Olson. Her mother is Karen Olson. Her sister, Jacqueline Kriske? One of those two.
Sure.
They were all completely unaware that Mueller actually lived with her, and he even paid her $300 a month in rent. And then there is Timothy McVeigh. He was Carrie's ex-boyfriend, and they had previously dated and lived together. Even after their breakup, they maintained frequent communication, mainly texting multiple times a day. And just like with Mueller, Carrie's current boyfriend, Carrie's family was unaware that she and McVeigh were still friends after they broke up.
Okay, so she's like keeping her dating life separate from her family.
Yes.
That's relatable. Listen,
Same.
You know?
So Carrie was clearly a woman who kept her cards close to the chest. She was kind of navigating this complex web of relationships that nobody else really knew about. She was being her own person. This intricate personal life, undisclosed information would unfortunately be a major role in her disappearance.
Oh no.
Carrie was in a vulnerable and stressful state, which could have made her more susceptible to manipulation or placed her in dangerous situations. And we've all been there. Like, you keep in touch with your ex, you try and stay friends, even like starting to get to know another new person. Like, you're still trying to be friends.
Yeah.
But I don't think she realized that would be dangerous for her.
Well, also, like, she's somewhat, like, maybe it's not intentional, but she is kind of isolating herself a little bit. Like, I understand not wanting to, like, disclose relationships to, like, people have many reasons for not wanting to do that, you know? But I don't know. I would be curious to know, like, do other friends know about these relationships, or is she, like, quite literally, like, no one knows about this relationship but her and the other person? Because that's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta at least tell somebody.
Yeah.
One person.
Yeah. Especially, I'm so sorry, but, like, as a woman, just trying to protect yourself, like, I fear that's very important.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
You know?
We all have blind spots. I will say that.
This is true.
And I think this was just one of Carrie's, and she wasn't thinking about the possible outcomes.
Absolutely. We're not victim blaming here whatsoever. Just, like, in hindsight, this is, like, I'm scared for her. This is a scary situation for her. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. The weekend of Friday, December 28th, 2013, around 1 p.m., Carrie got a fresh manicure. And this will become incredibly important later, so tuck it away.
Okay.
She got a manicure. Her best friend, Amanda Smith, said that Carrie had confided in her that she wanted to get away for a little bit and was having problems with Mueller. Mueller himself...
Wait, pause. Wait. So sorry.
Okay.
So... Got me terrifying you. Okay, so her best friend does know about her current boyfriend, right? If she's, like, telling... Or, like, at least at this point in the story.
Yes.
She's disclosed to her current best friend that her current boyfriend and her are together.
Yes.
Okay.
Mueller himself had actually corroborated that conflict. Carrie had stormed out of the house that night, or that day, around noon on December 28th after they'd made breakfast together. Yeah.
So he stormed out of the house.
She stormed out of the house.
She stormed out of the house.
So they were having an issue.
Okay.
Adding another layer on top of that, Carrie told another friend, Diana Gross, that she was planning to see her ex that day.
Okay.
McVeigh, hoping that he would surprise her with, quote, the money he still owed her.
Okay.
Financial entanglements, a secret ex, a current boyfriend she's having problems with. It's starting to sound like a Lifetime movie with a very dark ending.
Yeah. again, like, I'm scared for her. This is sounding more and more like a scowy situation to be in. You know?
Scowy. We're all very scowed.
Sometimes things come out of my mouth and then, like, not until after did they exit my mouth hole do I realize what I just said. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Okay. I'm so glad.
I say those, like, I always want to, like suck it back in my mouth. Like, didn't say that.
This is a daily occurrence for me, I fear. So, here we are.
I'm trying to be serious while I read this. Carrie's last known movements on December 28th included using her debit card at a 7-Eleven and a nail salon, and she withdrew $200 from an ATM at 2 p.m. Later that night, around 9:30, she texted Amanda saying she was on her way home from Dubuque, Iowa, and wanted to meet up. But Amanda said it wasn't typical for Carrie to just, like, go places. So she's in Iowa right now, and she's coming back. And that's, like, not super far from where they live.
Remind me where they live.
Davenport, Iowa. Okay, so it is the same state.
Same state, but, like, maybe it's just not normal for her to, like, leave town.
Yeah. I think that's what she's getting at. Yeah. The final piece of the puzzle for December 28th, leading into the early hours of the 29th, was the last call on Carrie's phone. It was from Timothy McVeigh.
The ex.
Yes. At 3:58 a.m. on the 29th.
So early and / late. Mm-hmm. Like, an odd time, too.
Like 4 a.m.
I don't know. I feel like if you're missing a call from somebody at 4 a.m., something's going down.
Yeah.
You know? It's not good.
Right.
You know?
McVeigh later said he called her because she had left his residence to purchase beverages, drinks.
So she was at his house?
Yes. We'll come back to this claim as well, because spoiler alert, he's a dirtbag who would tell a lot of lies.
Wow, who would have thunk?
Mm-hmm. It's always the ex.
It's always the ex.
The ex or the husband.
Truly.
The first sign that something was terribly wrong came on Monday, December 30th. Carrie didn't show up for work at Dave's flooring company, her dad's business.
Dave.
Yeah, Dave. We love Dave.
I forgot about Dave.
Her father immediately knew that this was out of character for her to miss work. And he immediately felt dread. Like, he knew something was wrong.
Bad. Yeah.
Dave went to Carrie's home and found Justin Mueller there, boyfriend, who confirmed Carrie hadn't been home. Dave used Carrie's garage code 1955 to enter her house. He specifically noted that this code was different from the one when McVeigh lived there.
Okay.
So she had changed it.
Okay.
After their breakup. Yes.
McVeigh, sorry. But, so that kind of tells me that maybe, like, she was nervous that he knew the code, and that's why she changed it. Like, that's what I'm thinking.
I agree.
Yeah.
Dave and his wife wasted no time, called the police department, filed a missing persons report.
Okay.
As any parent would, Dave and Karen started digging, checking Carrie's bank accounts, phone records, and they quickly discovered that the last call that she made was to McVeigh. Dave texted and called McVeigh multiple times on December 30th, and he finally responded in the evening with a text claiming he was on a trip and, quote, had not talked to Carrie that day. This, friends, is lie number one. And it's a big one considering he was the last person she spoke to.
Yeah.
McVeigh then tried to throw Dave off the scent, telling him Carrie had a key to his house and suggested she might be hanging out over there. At his house.
Whose house?
At McVeigh's house. At McVeigh's house.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And this is a lie. He's not telling the truth.
Absolutely, it's a lie.
So Dave goes to his home, and of course, Carrie was nowhere to be found. McVeigh also told Dave that Carrie's car, her beloved 2005 Toyota Avalon, was at the Minneapolis airport and that he'd bring it back to Dave on January 2nd, which is very specific.
If you didn't talk to her that day, how do you know where her car is? Sarah's not very good at lying. I gotta say that.
That he was lying. That car was actually at his current girlfriend Tammy Hedges' home in Hastings, Minnesota.
Minnesota? Mm-hmm. Listen, the plot's thickening.
When McVeigh eventually returned Carrie's car to the police garage, Dave looked through it, and he found food wrappers on the floor in the back seat and Carrie's purse and boots in the trunk. But her usual blue blanket that she kept in her car was missing. The purse contained her hairbrush, checkbook, and makeup bag, but her wallet was missing and was never found. Anytime you find a purse without the girl attached to it or like very nearby, something is wrong.
Absolutely. I mean, I fear we know not good things are going to happen, but this is getting scarier and scarier.
It's a true crime podcast,
right?
Unfortunately.
Things are not looking good for Carrie.
McVeigh's immediate responses to Dave Olson's desperate inquiries weren't just evasive, they were direct, verifiable falsehoods. He denied speaking to Carrie despite phone records proving otherwise. He suggested she might be at his house when he knew she was not. He lied about the car's location. The missing wallet from Carrie's purse immediately pointed to a potential financial motive or theft associated with the disappearance.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so curious to know why how are you this bad at lying? Mm-hmm. And like, two, like, why are you telling these lies that, like, the phone conversation thing, like, that is verifiable, right, that you two talked on the phone. So, like, did he think he was going to get away with that? I don't know. That just, stuff like this blows my mind.
Yep.
Like, truly, are you dumb?
He thinks he's smarter than everybody.
This is true. Maybe it's an arrogance thing. He's like, I'm not going to get caught. Right. Like, yeah.
So, financial motive, potentially. This immediately raised the stakes and signaled that McVeigh was not just a witness, but a key player in Carrie's disappearance. It also foreshadowed the judge's later characterization of him as a snake oil salesman. Someone who consistently manipulates the truth for their own benefit.
I do love that term of phrase, by the way. Snake oil salesman is so funny.
I agree.
Also, what is snake oil?
You've never heard that before?
I mean, I've heard of it, but like, what is snake oil?
It's like a fake. It's like a con.
Okay. Well, I mean, I knew that, but like, never mind.
like snake oil doesn't exist.
Right? Oh, okay. See, that makes sense. I promise I went to college.
But it was A&M's.
This is true. Barely.
But, okay, so, snake oil salesman, right? I feel like we all know that guy. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
Always manipulating things, becoming the victim.
And some of us have dated them.
Oh, for
Some of us have friends that have dated them. They're everywhere. Okay?
They're right behind me, aren't they? The community, meanwhile, wasn't waiting around. Carrie's disappearance sent shockwaves throughout the Quad Cities community. It hit home for everyone, literally. In early 2014, the community just rallied together, dozens of search parties, and it was snowing and bitter cold, and they're still out there searching. They scoured areas like Black Hawk State Historic Park, Campbell's Island, Camden Park. You can imagine the dedication and just the sheer will to try to find her. In February 2014, billboards went up, a $10,000 reward was offered, and candlelight vigils were held, all desperately pleading for Carrie to come home. The Quad City Missing Persons Network is an organization that was founded by a dad after his own son went missing, and they became involved in Carrie's case. Kind of rallying everybody up, providing support, coordination. And this really amazed me that everyone rallied so hard, because if I went missing, that's what I hope would happen.
Yeah.
Not that I want to go missing. I'm just
saying.
But
I know what you mean. You would hope.
With McVeigh's story already full of holes, investigators started digging into the digital trail that Carrie left behind. And this is huge. Remember how Carrie had just withdrawn $200 at the ATM?
Right.
Just hours before she vanished.
Yeah.
At 6:17 a.m. on the 29th, Carrie's debit card was declined for gas at a get-and-go station in Rock Island because of an incorrect PIN.
Oh, and her wallet was missing.
Right.
Oh my God.
Just 5 minutes later, at 6:22 a.m., it was declined again at a 7-Eleven in Rock Island, just down the street. But the kicker is that at 6:23 a.m., a $20 transaction was allowed inside the same 7-Eleven, but without a PIN required. Surveillance video from that 7-Eleven confirmed that Timothy McVeigh was the one using Carrie's card, and Carrie herself was not seen in the car with him. Then at 6:33, 3 attempts were made to get $400 at a credit union ATM in Rock Island, again with an incorrect PIN, and Carrie's card was finally blocked.
And you like have to have a PIN to get cash out of an ATM.
Yes.
So like, this was clearly not her. Well, obviously not, because we have video footage, but like, I don't know, at this point, unless there's like a twist, McVeigh's looking very, very suspicious. And I did the thing again. So you're welcome.
Very suspicious. McVeigh's flimsy. I just had a stroke. McVeigh's flimsy excuse for all of this. He claimed Carrie sent him to get $400 cash with her card around 6 a.m., and she told him the PIN was her garage code, which he remembered as 1584, but her actual PIN was 1954, and she'd changed it to 1684 on December 20th, after they had broken up. Detective No, who's investigating this case, found it incredibly odd that McVeigh wouldn't have stopped at home or just like called or texted Carrie for the correct PIN.
Right. If you're getting declined, why would you just go to another gas station or whatever and try again?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you would ask the person, unless you know they're not here anymore, you would ask them what the PIN is.
Yeah.
You know?
And he passed by his home twice while he was going from gas station to gas station.
Oh, and he was claiming that she was there.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, what the heck? Why wouldn't you stop by and ask her?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so, Timothy.
Just a blatant lie. This debit card activity was like the smoking gun, proving McVeigh's direct involvement and his desperate need for money.
Right, the financial motive.
He was caught on video using Carrie's card without her present, repeated failed attempts with an incorrect PIN that contradicted his own version of events. So he's unraveling. In court later, his assertion is that she was alive when he left her to go get cash.
Okay.
The prosecution's argument that McVeigh killed her for her car and her money because he was broke and needed to get to Minnesota for his trip gained a lot of weight with this like digital footprint.
Yeah, absolutely. Because again, why wouldn't you have called or texted her asking for the PIN unless you knew she was no longer alive?
And this is where the investigation shifts from a missing person to murder investigation.
Dun, dun, dun.
It establishes a clear, chilling motive and undermines every one of his alibis. It becomes very clear Carrie was likely dead or incapacitated while this scumbag was trying to drain her bank account.
And for $400, like, are you serious? This is a woman's life. Like, this also blows my mind when people murder someone for something as stupid as money.
Mm-hmm.
Are you joking? Like, and girl, you know that $400 is going to be gone in 2 seconds. That was worth killing someone over?
Right.
Mm-mm.
Over $400.
Crazy.
The investigators tracked McVeigh's cell phone records, which showed a lot of his movements on December 29th, 2013. At 7:35 a.m., McVeigh texted his current girlfriend, Tammy, saying he was on the road. Okay? At 7:55 a.m., video surveillance caught McVeigh buying a cigar with cash at a tobacco outlet in Davenport. Later that morning, McVeigh's phone pings him traveling north through Wisconsin into deep Minnesota. Around 11 a.m., he arrived at a Big Lots in La Crosse, Wisconsin. And this is where it gets really sinister. At 11:29 a.m., he purchased a shovel and a black travel bag with cash at Big Lots.
This man is messy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, You're not even trying to cover it up. You're dumb.
How did you think this was going to work?
Truly, it's wild. It must just be, like we said earlier, like an arrogance thing where he just like thinks he's not going to get caught. Which is like in this day and age, I know that this is like a decade ago or more than a decade ago, but like technology makes it, I fear, nearly impossible to get away with stuff like this. And when people are this messy, knowing that it's already fairly easy to like, or easier than it used to be to like solve crimes, it's wild to me. Again, the psychology behind it, it's just crazy.
Yep.
What was going through this man's head? Nothing. Clearly.
Just dogs barking.
Right.
The whole time.
I mean, crickets.
And remember that blue blanket from Carrie's car?
Oh, right. The blue blanket.
Yeah. So he was like stocking up his car for his road trip for New Year's. And he just like took the blanket for part of his road trip.
Right.
The pings continued. At 12:14 p.m., a call was logged in Minnesota, about halfway between La Crosse and Rochester. Then a critical ping at 1:35 p.m. McVeigh's call was serviced at a tower northeast of Rochester within the Richard Dorer Memorial Harwood State Forest. That is a mouthful.
Oh my God, he's in the woods. See, that's not good. Uh-oh.
This is the exact area where Carrie's body would later be found.
Oh, Carrie.
At around 1:44 p.m., he would have arrived in the immediate vicinity of where Carrie's body was discovered. By 1:57 p.m., he was at his girlfriend's house in Hastings, Minnesota, and by 4:15 p.m., his friend Bonnie Gilbertson dropped McVeigh off at the Minneapolis airport for his trip to Las Vegas. Just a regular guy going on vacation after a busy morning.
A busy morning burying a body.
Right?
Truly, that's bonkers. It blows my mind that you could just be in an airport next to someone who killed someone, and you might not know it.
So the detailed cell phone data provided undeniable minute-by-minute account of McVeigh's journey, placing him at the eventual body discovery site. He purchased a shovel and a travel bag before reaching the disposal area. Later discovery of a shovel sticker near Carrie's body. So he's just not being careful.
I mean,
honestly.
Again, this man is messy.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
And you can tell this was premeditated for concealing a body. Like, he knew how he was going to do it.
Right.
The fact that he traveled 300 miles to a remote wooded area further supports a deliberate, calculated disposal plan, not a panicked reaction.
Yeah, he knew what forest he was going to.
Right.
This man had potentially Googled best forest to hide a body. That's a long way to drive. So yeah, very, very premeditated.
Across state lines too, so maybe less people would like connect the dots. For 3 agonizing months after Carrie was reported missing, her family and community held on to hope. But that hope was shattered on April 5th, 2014, when her body was finally discovered.
I'm so sad for her family.
I know.
That's devastating.
And they didn't even know that any of this was happening.
Going on, yeah.
A landowner in Reneva Township, Minnesota, about 6 miles south of Hastings, made a discovery in a wooded area while he was placing a trail camera looking for wildlife. Her body was found just 15 yards from the road, but heavy snow and being below the tree line had perfectly concealed her from sight.
Yeah, that stinks. Like if it was a different time of year, it would have been easier to spot.
Right. Initial reports suggested the body had only been there for less than 2 days or maybe 36 hours. However, authorities later clarified that this was an early theory and might not be accurate, as they worked with the county medical examiner's office to determine the actual duration that she had been there based on things like weather. The cold might have preserved her body and kept it from decomposing.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
It basically was acting as like a freezer for her. Like it was preserving her.
Right.
That's wild.
They even admitted, actually, that they may never know exactly when or how long she's been there. The fact that Carrie's body was found only after the snow melted implies that McVeigh, relied on the winter conditions. That was something he took into account to conceal the body for an extended period.
I don't know. Should we give this man credit for that, though? Maybe he just got lucky.
Maybe.
He doesn't seem very smart.
Maybe.
You know? I mean, it was premeditated, obviously, yes. But, I don't know if I want to give him credit for being
Being
smart
like,
enough
I'm
to
gonna
think
do
about
this
that.
in the winter.
Yeah. I'm so sorry, but if you're just like using a dead woman's credit card out in the open, knowing there are like cameras, like you cannot be that smart.
The official death certificate eventually ruled her death a homicide by unspecified means. While one document mentioned ligature wrapped around neck multiple times, causing asphyxia, the overwhelming consensus from the trial and the official rulings points to just unspecified means. They don't know exactly how she died. And that kind of adds to the mystery and like the horror. Like we know who did it, but we don't know how
it happened
exactly.
Yeah.
When Carrie's body was found, investigators went to work. 2 search warrants were executed on McVeigh's very messy, unkept home in Rock Island. The first on January 3rd, 2014, and the second, more targeted one on April 8th, 2014, just days after Carrie's body was discovered. During that first search, detectives noted several rolls of carpet stacked in his living room. Carpet.
What you doing with carpet, sir?
Right? Forensic scientists later concluded that a carpet fiber found in Carrie's hair matched one of the rolls of carpeting found in McVeigh's home. Carrie didn't have carpet in her home, so it was a definitely link.
Again, messy. And he's just holding on to these rolls of carpet that he was supposedly moving her body with.
I had that thought too.
What are you doing?
And remember that manicure that Carrie got?
The manicure!
Yes.
Oh my god, I forgot.
Full circle. Detective No thought it was odd that any DNA under her fingernails, like that she had any at all, because she had just gotten that manicure. So the DNA that they did find, they knew was only after the time of the manicure.
Okay. Okay. I get it now. So like anything under her nails afterwards, we know happened after this timestamp.
Yeah,
and
like
that's
we know
important.
that it happened like within the last handful of hours
that she was seen.
Yes.
Okay.
A forensic scientist analyzed the sexual assault kit performed on Carrie, but they found no DNA other than Carrie's initially. However, they did a different kind of chromosomal testing on the fingernail scrapings, and they obtained a partial match. This partial match was compared to the DNA profiles of Carrie's father, her current boyfriend, and Timothy McVeigh. The comparison ruled out Dave Olson and Justin Mueller, but Timothy McVeigh was a match. While statistically 1 in 3 Caucasian males would also match this partial DNA profile, the trial court said that DNA was found under Carrie's newly manicured fingernails, for which McVeigh couldn't be excluded from. Does that make sense?
Yes. So, like, there's a non-zero chance that it's his.
Yes.
Is what we're saying, basically.
Like, there's a very decent chance that it's his. This, combined with all the other evidence, formed a very strong circumstantial case. Detective No also confirmed that Justin Mueller was actually never a suspect at all. Her boyfriend, never a suspect.
Good for you, Justin.
His cell phone records showed that he never left the area, and he was excluded from the DNA from under the fingernails.
Okay.
More than 6 months after Carrie's disappearance and 3 months after her body was found, Timothy McVeigh was arrested and charged on July 18th, 2014 with first-degree murder and concealment of a homicidal death. They got him.
They got him. I mean, I don't know how they couldn't have.
Right.
Not that, like, thank you for catching the man who killed this woman, right? But, like, he was so messy. He was not good at what he did. Like, what he did was bad, but he was not good at it.
Yeah.
I feel like a toddler would have been better at covering up a murder, truly.
Yeah. He clearly did not listen to true crime podcasts.
Right.
You'd be better at it.
Right. Not that we're promoting murder, okay?
Yeah, no, truly.
But just this man obviously didn't have 2 brain cells that were rubbing together. You know what I mean? Like, couldn't start a fire with them, so.
Couldn't start a fire. McVeigh's past relationships painted a really disturbing picture of his character. His ex-girlfriend, Katie Smith, who dated and lived with him in 2013, right after he ended his relationship with Carrie, described 2 incidents. In May 2013, she woke up to McVeigh sitting on her chest, bouncing up and down, making it difficult for her to breathe.
What?
She was terrified, and he claimed he was just playing.
Girl, get out!
And she was like, no, that did not seem like playing, and she moved out shortly after.
Okay, good. Oh, the way that I would never be able to sleep again.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine waking up and a man is just sitting on your chest and like, what the? No, nightmare fuel.
Truly nightmare fuel.
No, thank you. I mean, living with a man is already scary.
Scary enough.
That's scary enough, but yikes.
In October 2013, after a Halloween party, McVeigh was screaming at her and poured vodka and orange juice on her and her daughters. Okay?
Jail!
Smitty called the police, packed her belongings, and left. Smitty also stated that McVeigh was a kind and gentle man until he started drinking alcohol, at which point he lost all self-control over himself. That's a quote. And, quote, would scream, he would push, he would choke me up against the wall.
So he's an alcoholic.
He's an abusive asshole alcoholic.
But also,
yes.
just to be clear, we are not blaming this solely on alcohol. Like, this man truly had, obviously had something wrong with him before he became an alcoholic. Like, I'm so sorry, but drinking can't make you be a horrific person like this. I'm so sorry. Like, we're not fully blaming that on the... This man was a shitty human before that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was such a great way to put it. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
So we're seeing this pattern of abusive and violent behavior, especially when drinking. And obviously there's this dark side to him that he always denied in court.
Yeah.
He was like, that part of me doesn't exist, basically. Interesting.
Testimonies say otherwise, sir. So maybe take a seat. I don't know.
McVeigh's 12-day bench trial commenced on June 10th, 2015. A bench trial means there's no jury.
Interesting. Okay.
And it's the whole decision of guilt or innocence is on the judge. So this judge's name, Judge F. Michael Mearsman. The prosecution argued that McVeigh killed Carrie in his home between December 28th and 29th, then dumped her body near Hastings, Minnesota. The state's attorney, John McGahey, argued that McVeigh killed Carrie for her car and her money because he was broke and needed to get to Minnesota for his New Year's trip. He had no car.
God forbid he misses the New Year's trip. I mean,
no.
What could be worse? Jesus.
He had no car. His license was suspended. He had no other way to get there. The defense, on the other hand, focused on the lack of direct proof, claiming the prosecution's case was only speculation.
So, like the partial DNA match thing. Like, you don't have full DNA to prove that. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And McVeigh himself did not testify.
Okay.
On July 17th, 2015, Judge Mearsman delivered his verdict. He found Timothy McVeigh guilty.
Yay!
Of course, on both first-degree murder and concealment of a homicidal death. During the verdict proceeding, Judge Mearsman reviewed his notes out loud, explaining how he came to his decision.
Please read him to filth.
At times, he spoke directly.
Directly. Sir, I'm speaking to you directly.
So the judge, talking directly to McVeigh, he questioned McVeigh's absurd claims, like Carrie loaning him her car to drive him to Minnesota and then just leaving him there. He asked McVeigh, how are you going to get home from Hastings? And of course, McVeigh had no answer. He also claimed that McVeigh's lies to Carrie's family, specifically his text to Dave Olson, claiming that Carrie's car was in the Minneapolis airport when it was actually at Tammy's house.
Right.
The judge also questioned the sheer odds of Carrie's body being discovered just 4 miles from Tammy's home, where McVeigh had traveled before his Vegas trip.
Again, were we using the brain at all? I don't think so.
Regarding the undetermined cause of death, which was like the single biggest issue during the trial, Mearsman stated his belief that there were several ways Carrie could have died that might result in an undetermined means during autopsy. He also made a powerful statement about Carrie's purse, found in her car with her makeup, checkbook, hairbrush, but missing her wallet. He said, quote, "I am not a female, but I don't know of many females that would give me their car and leave their makeup, their wallet, checkbook, and their hairbrush in it."
Right.
Our point exactly.
You see a purse without the woman attached.
Things
are not looking good.
The judge then delivered a scathing indictment of McVeigh's character, saying, quote, "You say what you need to get them to do what you want," and comparing him to a snake oil salesman.
There it is again.
Who gets what he wants and then moves on, implying that the women he was involved with eventually saw through him. Addressing the defense's argument that the evidence was only circumstantial, the judge countered with, in this case, in relation to Mr. McVeigh's statements, the only way not to have the pieces of circumstantial evidence to match is for everyone to be lying except for Tim McVeigh. He concluded that, quote, "The only reasonable inference is that Carrie Olson died at McVeigh's house."
It is baffling to me that he thought he was going to get away with this. I cannot stop thinking about that.
The last thing that Judge Mearsman said to Timmy McVeigh, he looked directly at Tim and declared, "I don't know how you did it, but you did it. I'm not finding you guilty to make anybody happy." Timothy McVeigh was sentenced to 40 years in prison for first-degree murder with a consecutive 5-year term for concealing her death, totaling 45 years. At his sentencing hearing on October 9th, 2015, McVeigh, ever the manipulator, read a letter denying his guilt, stating, quote, "I did not kill Carrie Olson. I loved her and cared for her as my best friend."
I loved her and No, you didn't.
Right.
You killed her.
He called his conviction wrongful and claimed it, quote, "dishonors her memory because it allows her real killer to remain free."
You're not even trying that hard to, prove your innocence. Make any of this make sense if you're innocent. You know what I mean? He's just, complaining.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, but you did it.
Deflect.
Yeah.
Karen Olson, Carrie's mother, had the final word at this sentencing. In her victim impact statement, she called McVeigh evil and demented and implored the judge to empty this world of Timothy McVeigh like a badass bitch.
Empty this world. I love her choice of words there. Right. She's a queen, honestly. I don't know. Going through that as a mother, that has to be one of the most painful things you can experience. But I love that she used this time to take back the power a little bit and told this man off.
Right.
I think that's the right move.
That's how you do it.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
As far as the lasting impact of this case, it was, quote, "a rough time for the whole community." Everyone loved Carrie and the pain was tangible, palpable. Funeral services for Carrie Olson were planned for April 12th, 2014 at a church in Davenport with a private burial at Mount Calvary Cemetery. Her online obituary describes her as, quote, "a woman with a big heart who was very generous and giving." She had cherished relationships with her family and her dog, Colby Jack.
Oh my god, I forgot about Colby Jack.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope he's living with her parents or one of her family members took him.
Yeah.
And maybe that is kind of a painful reminder, but also maybe kind of sweet that they get to keep her pet, Yeah. I don't know. I hope he's somewhere special.
A piece of her they get to take care of still.
Yeah. Also, I'm so mad. I'm so mad at every man. I mean, I'm mad at everyone that kills everyone, but I'm mad at men that kill women for stupid reasons like this. It's clear by her family and friends testimonies and what they've said about her that she was just the sweetest human with such a sweet soul. And this man again killed her for $400 and to get to a party or whatever wherever he was going, that's truly vile, evil, disgusting.
Yes.
Ew. You should. Yeah, the mom is right. Rid this earth of men like him. Thank you.
And in lieu of flowers, her family asked for memorials to be made, like donations to be made to the Quad City Missing Persons Network.
That's so sweet.
Them search.
Yeah. Wow, even her family is like the sweetest people.
I know.
Wow.
Dave.
Oh, we love Dave.
Her story continues to resonate, and for me, it's a reminder of the dangers lurking beneath the surface of seemingly normal people, and that you have to be cognizant of who you're spending your time with, and if you feel safe and comfortable. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's so true. I feel like maybe that's why so many women in particular love true crime, because like innately we know that whatever the crazy statistic is, 3 in 5 women or whatever it is are affected by like sexual assault or some form of like violence, typically at the hands of a man. So like it maybe sometimes this is like subconsciously us trying to protect ourselves because we hear these stories and we're like, okay, I would have done XYZ differently to keep myself safe. I don't know. You know, like maybe this is just a self-preservation tactic.
For sure. For sure. And like we said earlier, like I'm not victim blaming here, but like just make sure that you know who your friends are. Yeah. And if you don't trust them, like why are you hanging out with them? Yeah. Do not spend time with them.
And a man that shows, I mean anyone that shows any amount of like violence like that, girl, get away now. You know, like again, not her fault, but like that's the thing that I think we can learn about cases like this. It's scary enough out there being a woman. So we gotta protect ourselves any way we can.
Seriously though, at this point, Alyssa and I launched into about a 10-minute tangent about the dangers of being a woman and how shitty the dating scene is and how shitty that men are. No offense, but also yes offense.
But like be better, you know?
Go to therapy.
Yeah.
Go to betterhelp.com/friendswhocrime. No, don't actually do that because that doesn't exist. But anyway, I've edited all that out, and now we're gonna get back to where we were wrapping up this case. Yes. So Carrie deserved so much more than the tragic end that she met, and her memory lives on through the love of her family and the community that fought so hard to find her and bring Timothy to justice. And that is the case of the murder of Carrie Olson.
R.I.P. Carrie.
Yes. Take a moment for Carrie today.
You suck, Timmy.
Yeah.
You don't even deserve to be called Timothy.
Right. Just Tim. You only get Tim or Timmy.
You know what? Just T.
T.
Maybe not even that. Just the man who killed Carrie.
Yeah. Ooh, amen.
Right? And took her away too soon.
Well, Alyssa, thank you so much for doing this. This was so much fun. This brought me so much joy. And thanks for like coming over to my home.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Well, guys, I'll be back next week with another case, so keep listening, stay hydrated, hug the ones that you love, and remember, friends don't let friends commit crimes. Bye! Bye. Oh, that was great.